Taoiseach, you're very welcome to the House. Listening to the conversation so far this afternoon brings back memories of my first job in Galway, in the Castle Inn, which is now long gone. At 13, my wages was £2 and your chances. £2 and your chances a week, and your chances was how much tips you could earn. And you worked yourself to the bone to make sure you got the maximum for the night. This bill is really welcome. And before I get into the bill itself, I want to thank Trevor Clougherty, who's no longer a member of this House, and Senator Gavin, who brought it. But Senator Doherty, probably the finest Minister of Social Protection we had at the start of this pandemic. That's not to take away from the current one, but you certainly grabbed the nation's spirit the way you took on the issues that faced families in real stress at the time. So I want to make that point. I also want to make the point, Taoiseach, that I approached you some years ago about Class K PRSI, and you immediately acted on it for city and county councillors and changed them to Class S. I think it's regrettable that we didn't do that for sitting members of this House, as some who lost their seat in the last election have suffered real poverty as a result of not having social protection contributions. But anyway, we're dealing with tips today. Tipping is really a very important social act. It's a way that we can acknowledge the excellence of those who serve us and look after us. It motivates people to work that little bit harder, and very often waiters, waitresses, members in garages, wherever, they really go beyond the ordinary to deliver the best possible service. Workers will welcome the clarity that you brought today with this TIPS bill, and it's a crucial part of their earning. I think Senator Doherty has made that point, and so has the other speaker. The bottom line on it is wages tend to be fairly poor in the service industry, but tips make the difference, so they do. And workers who work hard are entitled to their tips. COVID-19 has left and affected employers and employees in the hospitality and tourism industry hugely. In fairness to the government you're a member of, Taoiseach, you've worked hard to make sure that you supported those industries through the worst of times, and I know that, generally speaking, the public are very grateful for what was done, and in years to come, history will reward you for the work that was done. The time that you were running a temporary government or a skeleton government between elections and the formation of this government, you took some very brave decisions, and I want to acknowledge that. The bill is well timed now that we're getting back into the hospitality, transport and tourism sectors, and it will entice, I hope, workers to go back. One of the things I noticed recently on a trip to my hometown in Galway was the difficulty in having chefs. A lot of chefs left the industry over the period of the pandemic and haven't returned. So I'm hoping that we'll see a return to that. And that brings me on to the distribution of the tips. It is important that backroom staff are looked after as well as those that are out on the front. Now, my colleague, Senator McDougall, said to me the other day, if somebody serves me well and I want to hand them €20, I don't want them to have to hand it in anywhere. I want to give them the €20. And I think you provide for that here, and I think that that's a good thing. The issue of electronic payments, Taoiseach, it would be great if we could guarantee that at no stage will that ever form any part of PAYE, USC or PRSI as it's distributed to people. It is tips where it is paid as a tip. The service charge issue is something, Senator Doherty, I'd agree with what she just said, and I think you'll look into that, judging by what you said. I think it's important that when employees come together to look at their tips, that they look at a fair distribution of how tips are distributed amongst the employees. It's not fair, for example, if permanent employees take all the tips and the casual people don't get any. And I think that's one that has to be negotiated by the employees themselves. I think the bill that you've brought forward, Taoiseach, will provide a healthier working and fairer working environment. And I welcome almost everything about it. I do believe we may have one or two small amendments going forward. From the employer's standpoint, I would like to see a way that we could actually audit the tips that are paid electronically to ensure that they are all being transferred to the employees. I don't know if that would fit into the bill at this time, but I'll take your direction on that, Oireachtas, I will. The Workplace Relations Commission, I'm delighted to see that you're involving the Workplace Relations Commission in this legislation, but can I just say, from my own personal experience in the trade union movement, and I'm sure other speakers here will agree with me, the Workplace Relations Commission is already overburdened, and if we're going to ask them to be a party to this, that we would provide them with the resources that they would need to oversee the thing. So, Taoiseach, look, all I can say to you is you have shown me twice in my interactions with you, and I think we've only interacted twice in this House on legislation, that you're always willing to listen and that this is a really good move on your part. I would compliment you on the employment figures. They're looking really good, and the economy looks like it could come back fairly strong in the near future. And I'll take this opportunity to congratulate you and the government on that. Don't worry, a chance will come in the future where I'll have a lash at you for something else, but credit where credit is due. So I leave it at that, Taoiseach, and thank you for coming to the House today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.